What if Earth stopped spinning for just 1 second? At first, that might sound harmless. A second is so short you can barely sneeze in it. But when you're talking about a planet moving at jetliner speeds, 1 second is more than enough to turn the world into a very messy blender. Right now, Earth is spinning at about 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator, over 1,000 miles per hour. That's faster than a speeding bullet train, and almost as fast as your Wi-Fi claims to be before it cuts out. You don't notice this because everything around you, air, oceans, buildings, your dog, and your collection of novelty coffee mugs are spinning at the same speed. Now imagine someone hits the cosmic pause button. The Earth itself stops dead for 1 second. You, your dog, and your mugs don't. Thanks to Newton's first law, everything not nailed down, and a lot of things that are, would keep going eastward at full speed. If you've ever slammed on the brakes in a car and watched your shopping bags roll onto the floor, this is basically the same thing. Only instead of groceries, it's entire cities. Coastal regions would get hit first. Oceans would continue sloshing forward, piling up into waves tall enough to make skyscrapers look insecure about their height. Rivers would suddenly decide that flowing gently is for amateurs and instead sprint sideways out of their banks. Somewhere, a confused fish would find itself flying over Kansas. The air wouldn't behave much better. Imagine hurricane winds, except global and instantaneous. Skyscrapers would bend, forests would flatten, and that neighbor who insists on using a leaf blower at 7 a.m. would finally get blown to another time zone. Umbrellas wouldn't just flip inside out, they'd achieve low orbit. And even if you somehow dodged the flying cars, buildings, and airborne fish, the ground itself wouldn't be kind. Earth's crust would jolt violently, sending earthquakes rumbling across the continents. Volcanoes near tectonic boundaries could blow their tops, adding fireworks to an already terrible day. It would be like the planet tried sneezing, except the tissue box is a few hundred megatons of molten rock. If Earth resumed spinning after that 1 second pause, things wouldn't simply reset. The oceans and atmosphere would still be tumbling forward, now slamming into a suddenly moving ground. It would be like spilling a drink, then shaking the glass really hard to see if that helps. Spoiler, it doesn't. Interestingly, your odds of survival would depend on where you live. Near the poles, the spin speed is much slower, so you'd only be nudged a bit. In Antarctica, you might just stumble, spill your hot chocolate, and watch the penguins look unimpressed. At the equator, meanwhile, you'd be flung faster than an Olympic javelin, but with much less chance of landing gracefully. Satellites in orbit, of course, wouldn't care. They'd just watch the chaos below and silently judge. Somewhere, the Mars rovers would continue their quiet drives, blissfully unaware that Earth had briefly decided to audition for a disaster movie. So what's the final verdict? If Earth stopped spinning for 1 second, the planet would turn into a physics demonstration that nobody signed up for. Oceans would crash forward, winds would tear apart cities, and the aftermath would look less like life on Earth and more like Earth in pieces. The good news is, there's no force in the universe likely to just grab Earth by the shoulders and yell, "Freeze!" The bad news is, if it ever did, you'd probably only have time to think, that's weird, before becoming part of a supersonic debris cloud.